First thing I'm going to do is disconnect the negative terminal on the battery. I have a 1/2 wrench. Make sure you set that aside, tuck it out of the way so it doesn't ground out. Now we're going to raise the vehicle up. The starter is located on the passenger side of the engine, right down there. Ignition wire going from the ignition starter to the ignition is a single wire right here on the solenoid. There's a red tab. You pull that tab back, and then you can push down on the lock tab right there and pull the connector out. Now we're going to take the nut off the stud to the solenoid. That's from the battery wire to the starter. I've got a 13mm socket. Now if you didn't have your negative cable off the battery, that would have just arced everywhere. So you want to make sure you disconnect that. It's got the washer on it. Take those two off, and then you can pull the cable right off. Lower mounting bolt is right here into the bell housing, and I have a 14mm or 9/16 socket. Break that free. The top one is going the opposite way. It's from the back side of the bell housing going forward. It's the same size, 9/16 or 14mm socket. Top mounting bolt is right here. It's the furthest out of the ear on the transmission bell housing. I have a 15mm. On some of them, 9/16 will fit. This one is 15. Let's break it free. And the starter is going to wobble loose. Take that bolt out, it's not that long. Then you grab the starter and pull it forward. Bring it down. I'm going to take the new starter and just reverse procedure. Bring it up through the transmission lines. Mount it up to the transmission bell housing. And I'm going to take the top bolt, see if I can start it by hand. I'm going to put the bottom bolt in before I snug that top one up. The upper starter bolt is 35 foot-pounds. Okay, and the front one is 30 foot-pounds. I'm going to take the new nut and washer off the electrode solenoid stud, shall I say, and put the positive cable on. And it wouldn't hurt to, if you check your cable out, if it's corrosion, a little bit of rust on the end of it, take a wire brush to it or some sandpaper. Put the cable on. Bottom that out and then just snug it with a socket. 1/2 socket, and I am really just snugging it. You want to just bottom it out and turn it 1/8 of a turn. That's a copper stud and it will snap. Now we can put the ignition wire on to the solenoid. Hear it click and then push the red tab down. Before you reconnect your negative, I like to make a clean contact. So I'll just take a battery brush to the battery and to the terminal end. Reconnect that. Make sure it's seated flush with the terminal and not above it. 1/2 wrench, and we'll tighten that battery nut up.